Uh, Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening's edition of Biz Talks. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija International, and it's my distinct privilege to be able to host tonight's program. Very excited this evening. We're going to be going through quite a bit of information real quickly. Want to welcome all of you that are attending. Some of you are, veterans of Zija. I can see I'm looking at the roster here of attendees, a number of our top field leaders, many of our newer distributors. So welcome to all of you, and particular welcome to those of you that are an invited guest, because you're really what this presentation is for. Perhaps a friend or family member's been sharing the Zija products with you. Maybe you've been one of our customers for a while. Maybe somebody's talking to you about creating an opportunity to have some additional income streams, multiple income streams, some leveraged income, maybe even a way to create a financial vehicle to pay for, the new house or the kids' college education or supplemental income in retirement. And there may be some of you that are looking to literally create a full-time business that you work at home. Welcome to all of you. That's what this information is about this evening. What we're going to do over the next several minutes, I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to talk to you about what is rapidly becoming the #1 company in the home-based, income opportunity arena, Zija International. I'm going to talk a little bit about the criteria one would look for to create an additional income stream working from home. I always like to point out, I'm in my home office. This has been an absolutely beautiful thing to be able to build a business which is now international. It's a significant business, and I do 99% of what's done to create this business is done what I'm doing right now, sitting at home, video conference, on the telephone. For those of you that I've not had a chance to meet, this is why I do Zija. A number of years ago, many years ago, I retired from the network marketing industry. I used to be a cross-country truck driver. I had the good fortune to learn how to do this type of business from million-dollar earners. And I learned that if you work this business like a business, not as a hobby, you can create full-time income. In my particular case, I took it very seriously. And within 10 years, I was able to create an environment where I was able to put, probably 2 lifetimes of earning of a truck driver into 10 years. And I retired and got to do things that most people only dream about. And then several years ago, it was time to come home and take care of my elderly mother. So today I've built my Zija business here, taking care of my mom. She's literally about, maybe 12, 15 feet on the other side of that door. And I can do that from the luxury of doing it from home around my life. And so this evening, what I'm going to talk with you about is what are the 3 things that you want to look for if you're making a decision to establish a home-based business. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to hear from a gentleman that's literally a veteran of the network marketing industry. He's created substantial income, substantial organizations, and why he chose to be part of Zija International. So first, if you're at a point in your life where you recognize it's important to have a backup plan, a second area of income, or maybe you're looking to create additional income to meet the needs of a growing family or perhaps your own self in retirement, to be able to do the kinds of things that you want to do. In our profession of network marketing, here's what you want to look for. First and foremost, and this is just, what I did, because I retired from the industry after 10 years. And for a number of years, I stayed out because I wasn't looking for an opportunity to get back into the industry unless I could find a legacy company in the making. And the first thing I looked at was the track record, success, and integrity, experience, track record, and integrity of the ownership of the company. Because honestly, the hardest part of what we do is finding the right company. When I was first introduced, probably like many of you, I had a friend call me up, was telling me all about this great product, And I really wasn't paying attention because everybody's got a great product, right? I mean, nobody calls you up and says, hey, I got this mediocre product I want you to try. And what I heard was the name Ken Brailsford. You may want to make a note on that. When I heard Ken Brailsford's name, I stopped and asked the person that invited me to look to start again from the beginning, because I knew Ken's name. Now, I didn't know Ken personally a few years ago, but I knew who he was. Ken is an icon. He's a legend both in the direct marketing profession as well as in the nutritional profession. Everybody knows who Ken is from those areas. And you know what's true? You know who he is. Ken is known as the father of encapsulation. He was the first person to take medicinal herbs, put them into the little gel caps we're so accustomed to now, to make it easier for the average person to consume the benefits of medicinal herbs. Ken's known as the father of encapsulation. He's a master herbalist. Ken, with his siblings, they launched his very first company in the early 70s. That company, Nature's Sunshine, has now been in business over 40 years. It has done billions in cumulative sales and continues to be one of literally just about 24, just a couple of handfuls of companies that have become legacy companies in the direct marketing industry. Ken went on in the 80s to start his second company. Today, the company's name was Enrich International, continues under the name of Unicity today. Another one of the, again, just a couple of handfuls, a couple of dozen legacy companies. It's done billions of dollars in cumulative sales. Those two companies combined do $1 billion in sales a year after decades in the business. Ken is the only person in direct marketing history who's built two of the long-term successful companies. And so when I looked at Zija, I saw the criteria I was looking for. I was looking for successful track record and experience and integrity of the leadership. Secondly, I looked at the products. The products needed to be, be products that were highly consumable. Okay, I look for products that people use ideally on a daily basis. Use them on, reorder on a monthly basis. Keeps a ongoing flow of revenue through the distribution organization. I look for products that met recognized needs, that you don't have to convince people they need them. But the most important thing is the products had to really work. Because if you get somebody using products and they will consume your products independent of whether or not they're involved in the business side of the business, that's what creates a true customer base, and that's what creates a true opportunity. And see, now we've been in business over 10 years. We've got customers who've been using our product daily for over 10 years. 80% of this company is simply customers. And that's an amazing statement. And tonight, it's beyond the scope of tonight's presentation to go into depth in our products. But I just want you to know, today, everybody's looking for healthy, natural, organic, whole food. We've learned that the food chain is killing us. We consume many more calories today than we did 30, 40 years ago. We're getting just a small percentage of the nutrition. We know that the pharmaceutical industry is killing us, that the medical community does not have a good answer to keeping us healthy and living long. And when you look at what we put in our body and on our body, nothing but chemicals and everything around us is causing harm. And you know what? It's not me saying that. That's everybody else. Everybody knows that everybody's looking for a better way. And with Zija, we've got products that provide complete nutrition in a healthy, great tasting fashion through our moringa drinks. We have, personal care products, skin care products, essential oils that are clinical grade. Nobody in the marketplace provides clinical grade essential oils. When you look at the fastest growing segment of nutritional supplementation, it's in sports nutrition. We have the finest line of sports nutrition products, bar none. Okay, Zija is a category creator, and so we've got the products that meet a recognized need, they're highly consumable, and they really work. The third ingredient is timing. And that's really what tonight's all about. And I'm going to bring Dennis Estes over here in just a moment to share that with you. In our profession in network marketing, by the fact that Zija International has surpassed our 10th year anniversary, we're already in the top 1% of companies that have ever existed in this profession, because we've been around 10 years. Most of these companies don't last but a couple of years, because it's a real product with proven corporate leadership. And then when you can get into an environment where you've got a company that's got some maturity, has got infrastructure. If you look at Zija International, we are doing something that literally is taking the industry by storm. As young as we are and as small as we are, we still control 100% of our product line. We grow our own raw moringa tree, raw products in the fields. We grow them to our specifications, all organic. We import our raw materials to the U.S. We manufacture our products in our own state-of-the-art pharmaceutical grade manufacturing facility. We're the only people in the nutritional supplement market space that produce our products to pharmaceutical grade quality, and it's in our plant, so we control everything. We're literally tens of thousands of square feet of manufacturing, warehousing, office space. We're international. I believe we ship to now over 50 countries, and yet we're just a very small dot in the on the radar, and that's what creates the timing. If you have an opportunity to go with a company that's at $100 million a year in sales, where we are, to 200, 500, and $1 billion in sales, that's where the fortunes are made in our profession. And so to kind of share with you what a professional in the industry looks at, I'm going to bring Dennis Estes over here. Dennis, I'm going to bring you over to this side of the webinar. I've had the privilege of knowing Dennis now for I think like 2 years, 3 years. Hey, Dennis, I just unmuted you. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm awesome, Fred. Thank you so much. You can hear the fire trucks going by. We've got some excitement in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's not a good thing. I hope the excitement's not too close to you.
No, it's not.
Very good. Well, as I was saying, Dennis and his wife, Choi, they've been in this profession for many, many years. Recognized seven-figure earners. He's a diamond with our company, part of our Zija ambassador team for this year. Dennis, what I wanted to do, because we've got, quite a number of invited guests and then many brand new distributors just getting started with us. What I was hoping to do this evening is get a little bit about your story and start out with, who do we look for in our type of business? Well, we look for people like you and Choi. So maybe you can share with us a little bit, what was your background before getting involved in network marketing?
Well, it's interesting, Fred, because I've been in this profession now for 38, almost 39 years. First 11 years, I really didn't do much with it. I was an entrepreneur. I tell people I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I'd been a police officer. I'd owned restaurants. I'd done small business consulting. But somebody invited me to a presentation. And it's real interesting. The first presentation I went to, just before it started, I don't even know if I've told you this before, Fred, but this really sets the stage for the folks that are listening that perhaps they're new. Because sometimes when you go to one of these things, like what we're doing tonight, or maybe a real live meeting, sometimes you feel like a prisoner or a captive. You wonder, what am I doing here? Well, literally in this particular instance, just before the meeting started, I got up and thought, well, I better go use the restroom before this gets started. And as I walked to the back of the room, these two big guys walked over in front of the door, folded their arms, and they said, "You can't go until the presentation's over." And I said, "Is that true?" And they said, "Yeah, absolutely." And they're shaking their head. Well, I was a police officer. So I said, "Turn around, put your hands on the wall. You're under arrest for kidnapping times." And there was 20 people in the room. And they go, "No, you can go to the bathroom." So it didn't start off so good. But I heard a couple of things, Fred, that really excited me. Number one, I heard I could get paid for what I was worth. I worked with people, maybe we all have before, that's doing the same job that we're doing. They're making the same kind of money, but they're not working near as hard as what you're working. That was number one. Number two, I heard tax benefits, tax advantages. Number three, I heard no limit on income. I heard there was an opportunity. And so I thought, you know what, I want to be a part of this. But over the next 11 years, it was like, okay, so I was making money, but never anything big, significant. not what we call the reproductive residual income. But you know what happened? Over those 11 years, Fred, I got a real good Class A education in direct sales, real good education in this thing called network marketing. And in the early 90s, I made this decision that, you know what? I owned and operated 2 restaurants in Northern California, 167 miles apart, took 4 hours to drive between them. And sometimes I was back and forth over that road 3-4 times in the same day. Wow. That makes for a very long day. Literally took my health. I was disabled for 3.5 years as a result of the stress and panic attacks and everything that came from operating that business and just being gone 24/7. And I said, literally, if I don't make a change, this is going to kill me. Mm-hmm. And so I had been involved with a company. I thought, you know what, this is a really good, it was a legacy company, but I didn't see the future. And so I cast about, I found another company. I enrolled with that company, and I made the decision, I'm not going to do what I did for the last 11 years. You know what, I'm going to look at this thing like you said in the beginning, this is a business, and I'm looking to get myself out of the restaurant business and into this business. And so I made a decision. There was a few criteria that I looked for. And over the course of the next 25 years, Fred, I literally, I was with one company. That's unheard of in this industry for someone to be 25 years in one company. But I found a company that had great products. I had a company with great compensation plan, a founder that was absolutely awesome, incredible, with integrity, etc. And you know what was fascinating, Fred, as I listened to you tonight, this was a company that did exactly what you're talking about Zija doing. And part of the reason why I made the choice to come to Zija after 25 years, this company was literally at about 10 million to 30 million in sales. And I rode with it to well over $1 billion in sales a year over the course of that 25 years. So those are some of the reasons I was looking at network marketing. I just wanted to own my own life. And as you and I talked about a couple of minutes ago, I didn't think I was going to make it home to do this call at home. And literally, I've been on a lot of these on my cell phone. And the beautiful thing is, we own our own lives. We just pull to the side of the road, we do the call, and we move on.
You know, Dennis, you are really kind of the epitome of what I talk about, doing the business, not having your work, not having to live your life around your work, but rather living your life and working your business around your life. Because I mean, yep. let's face it, you know, and you were a police officer for many years prior to getting involved and becoming a business owner, and, right. And I understand that because, you know, let's face it, you know, as a police officer, your life was controlled by your job. You had a finite level of income, yep. Right? Yeah, you know, you might make a few extra bucks if you worked an extra shift, but there's no leverage there. You know, and right. I found that as a truck driver, right? You became a business owner and found out that all that means is you bought a job, but it was a really
amen, brother.
Job. And so, and people don't get this. You know, you were raised like I was raised. Get a good job, get as much education can, get a good job, work hard, you'll be taken care of, and you know that just doesn't happen anymore. And what that whole concept of job security. One person controls 100% of your income and 100% of your free time, right?
Yeah, and even your non-free time.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, just so you got a picture here, Dennis was out doing whatever Dennis does, and he was going to jump on this meeting from his cell phone because we can do a video conference anywhere, anytime, right? And but he was able to get home. It is a little more comfortable being able to sit in front of the big screen. Now, Dennis, one of the advantages that you have, because you've been with a company before that went from a few $1 million a year to $1 billion a year. You had a chance to be there during the formulation stages, then the explosive, momentum building stages. And now you're privy to some of the things that are happening right now with Zija. We've completed 10 years in business. We're putting together an infrastructure because what we did carried us to 100 million a year. Right. But if we're going to go from 100 million to 500 million a year and to $1 billion a year, we need a different platform. And so we've been rolling out periodically some things leading up to convention in October, Zija 2.0. And you've got some of the inside information. I'm not going to ask you to disclose it because we're not supposed to do that. But
Thank you.
Take the couple of minutes we have left here. If you were talking to a brand new person and realizing we've got basically June, July, August, September. We got 120 days before the launch of Zija 2.0 on October 5. What would you suggest to somebody that's just now getting started and likes the concept of being able to put things together in advance of the exponential growth that's going to be taking place? What would you suggest they do?
Well, Fred, that's an interesting question. And I remember thinking back at the beginning of this other company that went legacy, and people would say to me, if you knew then what you know now, what would you do differently? And that's kind of what I'm hearing you say tonight. So folks, those of you that are new and listening here tonight, what I would have done differently and what I advise right now when I'm talking to people is get in and build your team. Now, we know the concept is to find two, to help them to create their two, to help them to create their two, drive that down 4 levels. When you've done that, you're going to have a good customer base because 80-90% of the folks are going to want to use our products, they want to consume our products, they're going to be our customers. And I have found that the best way to find customers is when we're in the team building mode. Why? Because we're talking to a whole lot more people. So what I would advise is over these next 4 months, to create that customer base and that distributor base as large as you can with support and help from your upline team. Why is that? When the announcements are made in early October, you can get excited and fired up yourself and say, oh man, I'm going to go to work, and you're starting at 0. You're on fire, you're excited, but who do you have to tell? Nobody. You're going to start and build. And so now you're going to be 90 days. This is a 90-day lead lag business. What you do now starts paying off in 90 to 120 days. So if we start right now in anticipation of what's going to be announced, and like Fred said, we're not at liberty to say anything other than if you can't tell, we're both excited. And that excitement translates into enthusiasm, and that enthusiasm translates into action. So you can go to Summit, or you can hear the information from Summit and get excited all by yourself, or you can create a team between now and then. What if you had, let's say, 6 leaders? So you found 2, you helped them build out. Next month, you found 2 more, you helped them get started. And over the course of maybe this next 90 days, you found 6 people who said, yeah, I really want to do this. And they went to convention, and they've got a few people now on their team as well. You might have 20, 30, 40, 60. Who knows? But now you've got a little nucleus of people that are going to go out and get excited. And in this business, there's magic with certain numbers of people as they join your team. So I would say if you're serious about this, come in at the level that works right for you, get started, ask for your upline team's support and help. That's what their job is to do. They're the support line for you to help you get off the ground. What do you need to know to get started? You only need to know the number of your upline leader that's going to help train you and move you along. You don't need to know anything else because you earn while you learn. That's the magic and power of this. It's on-the-job training. So if I tell people, if your lips are moving, you need to be pointing to a tool. So the idea is if I'm talking to Fred about this opportunity, I want to point to a video that Pat Anderson's done or David Moses has done or something like that. I want to hand them a brochure. I don't want it to be about me. So as you go out and start talking to these people, don't have it be about you, because then people think, oh gosh, I don't know as much as they do. But if I'm saying, I'm excited, Fred, and this thing's really starting to catch fire, and all these elements are in place for a legacy company, and listen to this, or watch that, or go to this website, anybody can do that.
Yep.
That's just enthusiasm that's sharing and giving a piece of information, plugging them into a system, and let the system do the work.
Folks, now you understand why Dennis and Choi Estes have been able to accomplish everything they've accomplished, because he's spot on. Dennis, I always appreciate getting a chance to spend time with you, and I particularly appreciate you being able to share with us on this broadcast this evening. Thanks so much, buddy. I look forward to seeing you and Choi in Orlando in October.
Likewise, my friend. Good night, everyone.
All right, I'm going to let Dennis go back to the other side. And so, folks, In conclusion, I want to do two things for you because we've talked about the ingredients you look for to have a great company. Long-term success track record, right kinds of products, and timing. We've talked a little bit about, through Dennis's story, who do you look for? You look for people like you. Look for people like Dennis. Look for people that want more out of life. If you find a couple of people, and I want you to think about this, if you knew that you could create a full-time income working part-time from home, but only if you let a couple of your friends in on it, who would be the people you'd want to bless? Because that's where you start. And for those of you that, have questions, maybe you want to try our products, maybe you want to learn a little bit more about the business, the person that asked you to be part of this presentation or sent you to the video replay on the YouTube channel, they'll be able to help you, or they'll have somebody that can, maybe they're brand new and they'll get somebody else to help answer your questions. For those of you that are ready to get started, get in, get trained, and get going. And we're going to be able to help with that Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern time. On this same broadcast link, we're going to be hosting a very special new distributor training that's going to be designed to teach you exactly what Dennis was talking about. A simple system it's simple, it works, and if you simply follow the system and do it like it's a real business, the results are inevitable, that you'll be able to accomplish your goals. And so I'm excited to be able to share that with you. Thanks for joining us. One last shout out, Dennis Estes. You're the bomb, man. I appreciate everything you're doing for Zija Nation and all of the team. Thank you for joining me this evening. And folks, we'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. Have a great evening. Take care now. Bye-bye.